Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Glacial Geek Kill Team Battle Report. I am Phil, the Glacial Geek, coming to you here from Casa de Neil, where I'm about to fight a kill team battle on the new Into the Dark kill team set here between the two armies, the two kill teams that are within it. So we have the Imperial Navy Breachers against the Farstalker Kinband. So essentially, the story that we've got going on here is that the Kroot have found their way onto this space hulk that the Navy were already searching through and trying to set up operations within. So the Navy realized that the xenos had entered into the space hulk and set defenses to try to keep them from taking it over and disrupting their operations on this space hulk. That's the story that we've got going on. We are going to be playing the mission called Power Overload, which is from the Into the Dark book, and it has specific rules on how to set up everything in here. Essentially, these terrain features here, this one, or I should say this one here, and this one here are alpha, what are they called? Alpha ancient apparatus. And then we have this one here, and this one here are non-alpha ancient apparatus. And essentially the way it works is we have defender and we have attacker. So the Kroot will be attackers, the breachers will be the defenders. And at the end of the game, for each of the alpha ancient apparatus that have been overloaded, the attacker will score 3 points. Each of the non-alpha ones that have been overloaded will score the Kroot 1 point. And vice versa. So everyone that has not been overloaded will score the Breachers 3 points or 1 point, depending on what we have there. We also still have our secondary missions that we are going to be going for with that. But that's how it works here. So that's what the mission is. It's one of the asymmetrical ones. So we have attacker and defender differently. And as you'll see when I set it up, the defender actually gets to place theirs out onto a couple of their models out onto the kill team there, as opposed to in their deployment zone, which is kind of fun. So that is going to be the story. That is going to be the mission. Before we go any further, though, let's show you the two kill teams that are going to be fighting it out. So for the Navy Breachers, our kill team will consist of a Sergeant at Arms. We have 2 gunners. We have a Void Jammer and a Geist Skull. We have a Hatch Cutter. We have an Endurant. We have a Surveyor and a Cat unit. We have a Grenadier, an Axe Jack, and an Armsman. And for the Farstalker Kinband, the kill team will consist of a Kroot Kill Broker. We then have a Tracker. We have a Cut Skin. We have a Stalker. We have a Heavy Gunner. We have a Pistolier. We have a Cold Blood. We have a Long Sight. We have a Bow Hunter. We have a Warrior. And we have a Hound. All right, so going over deployment here for the Breachers. I have my Hatch Cutter, I've got my Grenadier, I've got my Axe Jack, and I've got my Sergeant at Arms all along the front row over there. Then we have the Void Jammer, we have the Armsman, and the next row down, then we have the Surveyor, we have the Geist Skull, and the Cat unit back in the back over here. We also have over here on guard, we have my Endurant, which is the guy with the shield. We have a gunner with a Melt-A-Gun over here, and then we have a gunner with the Las Volley, I believe it's called, over in this location. Then for the Kroot, he has deployed his heavy gunner on the front right over there. We have the Stalker next to him, and we have the Tracker next to him. We've got a Hound right behind him there. We have the Cut Skin. We then have the Pistolier. We've got the Kill Broker, Long Sight, and the Cold Blood. And then we have the Warrior and the Bow Hunter back over there. Essentially set up the normal way here, and we everything's the same. So except we didn't place barricades. We do have all the scatter terrain that we placed around here just to make things more interesting. But for these missions from this book, it's specifically the way they worked it out is they're meant to be, these are the initial excursions from these kill teams into the Space Hulk. And as you go on with the different sets that are going to be coming out, the missions will have you getting deeper and deeper. So for all of these missions, you're not actually supposed to set up barricades with the set up barricade thing. So we set them up before we even knew who was going to be attacker defender, so no one could set it up with anticipation of trying to help themselves out. So we just set them up, and then we went from there once we had them set up. And that should be it. There's a couple other rules that they have differently here in Close Confines. Torrent and Splash and might be just Torrent and Splash, but certain different weapons because you are in Blast. Because of the way that you're supposed to be in a Close Confines here, they gained the lethal 5+ special rule, which is pretty cool. You also have hatchways, which can be opened or closed with an AP. You can also have a new action that you can perform called Guard. Essentially, it's 1 AP, and what you put down, you put it on the 1 AP, and then you can interrupt an enemy operative once per turning point once you've been put on guard, basically allowing you to either fire Overwatch. You can do point blank Overwatch, which is essentially if they try to charge you and they get into close combat with you, you can do point blank Overwatch and just get to shoot them as you interrupt it before they get to fight you. And then there is, I think that's about it, all of the new special rules that they have here. But it's pretty cool. All the terrain is all interlocking, and you can be taken apart and set up in all different ways. All the different missions specifically in here have setups that you can use to do it specifically, but it's pretty fun just to see how they all kind of open up and pull apart. They also have a reference sheet to allow you to set them all up here, so you can see it on the back over here. So they've got a reference sheet to make it easier for setting up for specific missions, or you can just set it up your own way. It's basically just like Legos. They just kind of like click together, and they look really awesome. And I'm super excited to play it, and it's also kind of exciting to see how they'll be when you get like 4 sets of these as the new games come together. If it's just going to be like a whole, what is it? Zone Mortalis kind of board that you can play with like a full 40K game. It is worth noting that the board is slightly different size. It's more square, which I believe is maybe more designed so that 4 of these together will be more like a Zone Mortalis board setup that they had versus the full 40K board. Because they're doing the close confines here. But it's essentially like 1.5 inches wider than the usual kill team board and like 2 inches shorter than the usual kill team board there. So it's probably similarly square inches, just more squat and more square shaped here. I'm betting it's to make it so that it was easier to figure out how to do the layouts for the walls to make them reach to each side. But it should be interesting to see how it all plays out with all of these different ones. So yeah, ton of fun to have them set up. All right, so that is deployment. We will now roll off to see who will have initiative here for the first turning point. Essentially, the way this works. Oh no, this is going to be the scouting. Yeah, so this is going to be the scouting phase. So you have 3 different options, just like you have in regular kill team in this one. Essentially, it's all the rules are the same for kill team, except you're not going to have vantage, and you have to measure all ranges around walls, not through walls, and all of that fun stuff. Oh, and if you have an indirect weapon, that's the other one that I forgot. If you have an indirect weapon, you have to choose if you want to use the indirect ability on it, and if you do so, it changes its range to range square. So you're looking at a 3-inch range versus anything else, which is pretty cool, just to keep you, because it's basically to be like your close confines, so you can't just like heave it over a wall or anything like that. You still got to go around things, and it has to banging off of corners and everything like that. But we are going to be doing the scouting step here. So you have 3 different options. You have fortify. You have you have 1, which is fortify. You have 2, which is infiltrate, and 3, which is recon. And essentially, fortify allows you to place a barricade. That's the only one that you're allowed to place a barricade for. It does specify that you can on these missions if you place them in any other way, just not the initial first way of setting up barricades. So 1, you get to put up fortify, you get to put up a barricade. Number 2, infiltrate allows you to change one of the operative's engagement tokens during the turning point, or during the first turning point. And if you have recon, it'll give you a free dash action for one of your operatives at the scouting phase. This is also act as a way to choose who has initiative with rock, paper, scissors. So you have fortify will beat infiltrate, infiltrate will beat recon, recon will beat fortify. And then you have attacker and defender, where the attacker will have initiative. So my opponent chose attacker. So if we have a tie and we both choose the same thing, my opponent will have the initiative. So we are now going to choose it. 1, 2, 3. Both chose recon here, so we're both going to be doing the free dash action, and because of that, my opponent will have the initiative going into turning point number 1. All right, so into the strategy step of the first turning point here, we gained a CP, so we're both at 3 with the 2 that we got from having our leaders on the board there. We then spent tactical ploys and stuff. I didn't spend any, but my opponent spent 1 on, what was it called again? Farstalk, which allow him to change his it allows him to change 3 of his operatives' engagement tokens, which is pretty cool. Or engagement tokens there. So from engage to conceal or conceal to engage during the first turning point, which is pretty cool. As long as they're more than blue away from the enemy, which is allowed. Then we revealed our secondary objectives. So I revealed my first faction tack up number 1, which is storm target. Essentially, I do it at the beginning of the first turning point here. My opponent chooses an objective, so he has chosen this one over here, so the farthest one away from me. And essentially, if I control that objective at the end of a turning point, I score a point. If I control it at the end of the game, I score an additional point. My opponent has revealed 2 of his. He's revealed Overrun, so essentially he's going to be trying to get into every table quarter on the board here. And he's also revealed Faction Tac Op number 3, which is Bounty Hunter. So essentially, each operative of mine that he kills or incapacitates, he will place a token where they fall, and then his operatives can pick them up, and he scores points based upon how many that he is able to pick up. So that is going to be the strategy step. We will now come back to you with the firefight step. My opponent's first activation will be with his tracker. When he activated, he placed his Petro token, which is basically his bird. Here he was within red horizontally and any distance vertically, but we're playing with close confines here, so there's no vertical distance within him there. And then every time he activates him, he can then move him red, move that Petro token red if he wants to. He then moved him with 1 APL up into position over here by the machinery. We're both at the 2 APL. We're both 2 APL, so we're both holding on to this, contesting it, so he cannot do the action to try to overload it just yet. But then he did spend 1 APL on Mark for the Hunt, and essentially you choose an enemy operative within red of his Petro token, and when enemies are shooting at them, they do not receive the benefit of light cover from it, which is pretty good. So that is going to be my opponent's first activation. All right, so I'm going to activate my gunner over here with the Navis Las volley that he's got there. Because I actually took equipment, I had the system override, which is 2 CP, or 2 equipment points. And it allowed me at the beginning of the strategy step to open one of the doors for free. So I opened up this door here, which is why he was able to walk through it, and that's why it's open now for me to see through. And I'm going to shoot into his pistolier over there with my Navis Las volley. So it's going to be 6 shots here, looking for 4+. These are going to be, it's got Fusillade and Relentless. Fusillade, I cannot target anyone that I want to because they're concealed and getting light cover from his other friend there. So I'm just going to roll these ones, looking for 4+, but it's also Relentless, so I can reroll everything that I want to. So I'm just going to reroll those 2 fails. All right, so that's going to be 6 hits into him over there. How many wounds does he have? The Pistolier? 8? Well, actually, then there's no point in rolling since I got 6 hits on you. Even if you got all 3 saves, that would be 9 damage into him. So the Pistolier is out of action. And his second APL will just be to dash around the machine over here. My opponent activated his Kroot Hound, who moved and dashed into position here outside of engagement of my gunner. My Armsman activated, moved up over here, and opened up this portal over here. My opponent activated his Stalker and moved and dashed into position over here. I activated my Cat unit, who moved and dashed over here. My opponent activated his Cutskin, who moved up to the door and then opened it. Nope. I'm going to activate my gunner over here with a Meltagun. He moved up into position on the other side of the doorway there, and he's within range of his heavy gunner, and I'm going to shoot him. So it's going to be 4 shots with the Meltagun, looking for 4s to hit. Getting a crit, which will do 4 mortal wounds to him immediately. And I'm going to... Oh, man. How many wounds does he have?
8.
8.
Do you do an AP?
It's AP2, so I'm gonna spend a CP to reroll one of those into another hit. It's AP2. So you only have the 1 dice. Looking for your defense dice here.
7 of 5.
5 up, save. No, does not make it on that.
I'll die if I don't.
You're gonna spend a CP to reroll it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I need him.
Gonna spend a CP to reroll that. Does get it with a 5. Nice. So the crit will go through, which will do an additional 3 damage to him, doing a total of 7 damage. All right, so now my opponent is going to activate his heavy gunner. The first thing he's going to do is use his equipment, which is eat meat. So he gave him like a chunk of meat. He regains D3 lost wounds. So he'll gain back 3 wounds, which puts him up to 4. Which is he has 8 wounds total, right? Yep. So he's not less than half, so he's not wounded anymore, which is perfect for him, not for me. Now my opponent is going to shoot him. Oh, yeah. We've got him with the, what is it? The Londaxi Tribalist. I'm not sure if that's what I modeled him with, because I couldn't find any references to which one it is. There's 2 different options. There's like a Skinner, I don't know, something else, Skinner, and then the Tribalist. I wasn't sure which one was which, and it doesn't matter because you can only have 1 heavy guy at a time, so whatever. He's going to have the Tribalist. So it's going to be AP1 and cumbersome, which means that he can't move more than 3, I think, with his movement.
I'm stuck in place.
So he's going to be there. So he's going to spend this, and it does have rending. So he is going to have 5 dice, looking for 4 pluses.
There we go.
Getting 1 hit. It is AP1, so I'll have 2 saves here. My guy has a 4 up save. Do you want to spend your CP?
I might as well.
You're going to? All right. My opponent's going to spend a CP to reroll.
Give me that, baby.
No, not meant to be.
Can I have a shirt?
Yeah, I have a shirt right there. Then I'm going to have 2 dice here because it is AP1. So I'm looking for 4 plus save. Make it with a fill phase. Woo! I then activated my Surveyor, who moved up over here and then spent 1 APL on Wayfinder, which means that he can choose a friendly operative within red of him or within red of one of my cat unit. So my cat unit over here is going to give him +1 APL. My opponent then is going to activate his long sight here, who dashed up into position here so he can get line of sight onto my gunner. And then, because the weapon's heavy, so he can't make a normal move, but he did a dash there. So he's going to have 4 shots here, hitting on 4s. Right? Or 3s. I'm sorry, 3s. He's going to hit on 3s. 4 shots hitting on 3s. Okay, that's going to be all hits, including a crit. So that's going to be mortal wound 3. So I've already taken 3 wounds there. Yep. And then going to have saves here of 4 plus. I'm going to take 1 regular save.
Yep. On the door.
And then not get any of the other ones.
Ooh.
Man, I think he... what's the damage on this? It's
3.
3. All right. So he's going to be doing 12 to him. I don't think I can do much to save him because I think I would need to get... essentially all 3 to save him with 1 wound left. So I'd have to get, nothing I could do. So he is incapacitated. All right, so then once I was incapacitated over here, my opponent revealed one of his tac ops, which is Butcher, which is one of the specialty ones for the Kroot here. Essentially what he does is, it's called Butcher, and he will place a meat token right where my guy is there, and his guys can pick it up to score him points with the pickup action. All right, so now my Endurant is going to activate. He is going to move and open the door as he's moving into the room over here. He is then going to, with his 3rd APL, because of the extra one that the cat unit gave him, activate and shoot into his tracker over there. So he is within short range. He's got the 2 choices, close range or long range. He's going to use with Navis heavy shotgun here. So I'm going to have 4 shots looking for 3s, relentless, so re-rolling anything. Ooh, re-rolling all of those, that's for sure. All right, so that's going to be 4 hits. These are no AP or anything like that, so cool. You can do your regular saves. So you're looking for 5 ups.
Here we go.
5 ups on his tracker here. Making one of them. That's going to be 9 damage though. So
he did.
He will be out of action.
He did.
All right, my opponent activated his kill broker over here, who moved into the room over here and picked up that meat token that was left by my my gunner.
Especially when you land.
My hatch cutter is just going to move and dash into position over here. Opponent activated his Cold Blood, who moved and dashed into position over here.
the center of the
My opponent's sergeant at arms, my sergeant at arms moved and dashed into position over here. His Kroot warrior moved and dashed over to position over here. Moved and dashed with my axe jack. All right, move and dash from his bow hunter. My Geist skull moved and dashed into position up over there. All right, so now my opponent is going to shoot fire Overwatch with his heavy gun over here. You can see through that doorway into my guy here. So he's gonna have 5 attacks, hitting on 5s because it's -1 for Overwatch.
Oh,
Ooh, 3 crits.
no, more than that.
No, it's just 3 crits because that's 1 second. All right, so it's 3 crit saves, 3 crit hits here. So I'm going to roll. I've got 2 up saves on my guys here.
AP1.
Is it AP1 on this one? So it's going to be 2 saves here. Looking for 2 ups because my Nevis Endurant has a save of a 2+. So here we go. Getting 2 regulars, so I can cancel out one of those crits. Okay. So I will take 8 damage, which will actually leave me with 2 wounds left because my Endurance starts with 10. And my opponent didn't have any other operatives he could do, so I just activated my last 2, moving and dashing my Void Jammer over here, and moving and dashing my Grenadier up over here. So we will now roll off to see who will have initiative going into turning point number 2. I rolled a 5, my opponent rolled a 5. So it is my initiative because I didn't have it last time. So we'll come back to you with turning point number 2. All right, so into the second turning point here in the strategy step, we both gained a CP. Neither of us spent any on strategic ploys, any CP on strategic ploys, and neither of us have any tac ops to reveal. So we'll move on to the firefight step. All right, so for my first activation, I will be doing a breach and clear action, which is once per turning point, I choose an operative to activate. I can then choose another operative within blue and line of sight of him. So I'm going to choose I'm going to activate my hatch cutter. I'm then going to nominate my my Grenadier as his friend here for breach and clear. And essentially what it is they become GA2 and they can both activate one after the other. I'm also going to spend a CP on Overwhelm Target, which allows me to give +1 APL to one of them. So I'm going to give the +1 APL to my Grenadier. So my hatch cutter is going to move into position over here and then spend 1 AP on breach point, which allows him to put his breach point token right there. And now my guys can treat that as they can just go through that wall. So he basically just cut a hole where there was no doorway previously. My Grenadier then moved and dashed through that breach point over there, over to his position right there. And now he is going to shoot his demolition charge into the center bow guy there. So it is range 2 circle, blast circle, AP1, indirect, and limited. So I'm not going to use the indirect because if I was, I would have to be range blue, but I'm just going to do the regular shot into the middle guy there. And the blast means I do the attack into each enemy operative that is within circle of the original one. So it's going to be all these attacks. I'm going to be doing an attack one at a time into all of his guys over there. It's AP1, and because we are in close confines, it's a blast special rule. My weapon will now have lethal 5+. So we'll do it into the bow hunter first. I'm going to have 4 shots, looking for 3s to hit. All right, getting 1 crit and 2 regular hits into him over there.
Any AP?
AP1.
Okay, drop it back.
So got 2 saves here at 5+.
Yeah.
Not getting either of them, so that's going to be 14 damage into
14,
him.
he's dead outright.
So he is outright dead.
Okay.
We will then do the blast attack into your cold one over there.
Okay.
That is going to be 2 regular hits. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll 1.
Okay.
Nope, not meant to be. So that's 2 regular hits, 2 saves, 2 5-ups, making 1. So he will take 4 damage.
Okay, not dead.
Not dead. And not wounded because he's got 8 wounds, so he's still alive. And then the last one into your warrior over there. That is going to be a crit and 3 regular saves into your warrior over there. So you've got, again, 2 5-up saves into your warrior over here because it's AP1. So 2 5-ups. Getting 1 crit, so you'll cancel out my crit, but that will still do 12 damage to him. And he is also dead. So That was a heck of a move. All right, my opponent activated his Kroot Hound over here, charged into my my Endurant over here with the 2 wounds left, and he's going to fight me now. So, yeah, he got a hit, which means no matter what I rolled here, even though I got the fill face there, he will be doing at least 3 damage to me. When he chooses it, he is dead, and I drop meat. My Armsman's going to activate now. He moved into position here, and he's going to shoot into his Hound over here. So I'm going to have 4 shots with close range here, hitting on 3s, getting 2 regular hits. My opponent does get the benefit of cover because he's within range over there and cover. So you've got the 1 regular save, and then you're looking for 5-ups, right?
Yep.
And getting another crit there, so he is good to go. My opponent activated his Stalker over here, who moved into position over on this side, and then picked up his picked up the meat that was over there. My Sergeant at Arms is going to activate. He's going to move into position there, holding that objective now, and then shooting his cold blood with his bolt pistol. So it's going to be 4 shots, looking for 3+ to hit. Getting 2 crits and a regular hit.
I'm going to use his Hardy and reduce 1 if
I think it's both, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Hardy, these are crits, so you can only block with crits, but he'll only ever take, because he's got Hardy, he'll only ever take the damage from a regular one. So now he's got 3 dice here, looking for 5s to save. It cancels out my 1 regular one. So instead of 8 damage, he will take 6 damage, but it's still enough to incapacitate him. All right, my opponent has now activated his kill broker over here, who moved on to within engagement range of the alpha objective over here, and then used his other APL to activate the ancient machinery there to overload it. So then my surveyor is going to activate, move up here, and then he's going to put Wayfind onto my Axe Jack over here, giving him +1 APL.
Shoot him in the face.
All right, the long sight is going to activate. He's going to dash up to the corner there, and then fire into my Grenadier. He's got 4 dice here, looking for 3s to hit.
Nice.
Ooh, getting a crit and 3 wounds there. So that crit is going to do 3 mortal wounds to me. And then I am going to try to save here. I've got 3 4-up saves. Making 1 of them, so that would do 9 total damage to him, which would kill him. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll 1 of those into a crit, which is, it doesn't make a difference, but that's just going to block 2 of them, which means that, oh no.
I did 12.
Yeah, he was doing 12. Never mind. I'm not going to spend the CP because there's nothing I could do about that save there, because he is going to be dead. All right, so now my Axe Jack over here is going to activate. He was over here. He was able to charge and get within range of his kill broker on this side here. In doing so, when he charged, the reason he had the extra, I gave him the extra APL, is because while he was doing the charge, he actually opened the door going through there. You're allowed to do that with their move there. He's going to come up and charge into him and then do his attacks over here. I am going to be emboldened, which means that I will have a 5+ feel no pain, which is pretty good. But I'm going to have 4 attacks hitting on 3s. Lethal 5+, doing 4/6 damage. My opponent's kill broker is going to have
blades, so I got 3 dice.
Yep, 3 dice hitting on 2s, 3/4, which is pretty good. All right, so I got a crit. That's going to be 3 crits for me over here. We'll come back. All right, so I struck with my first one here, my first crit here, doing 6 damage. My opponent struck me with his, doing 3 damage, and then I struck with this, taking him out of action. When doing so, I did the Robin Ransack, so I was able to get a point for that. My opponent's going to activate his heavy gunner over here, who is now going to move up to there. It's cumbersome weapon, which means he can't move more than 3 circle. So he moved up there, not more than 3 circle, and then is going to shoot into my Axe Jack over here. So he's going to have 5 shots here, looking for 4s, getting a crit and a hit.
I feel it being a button.
Hitting on 4s, right? Or is it 3s?
Yeah, 4s. I'm going to burn that. I'm going
to spend a CP to reroll. All right. Into there, crit and 2 hits. It is AP -1.
Yep.
So I'm going to have 2 saves here, looking for 4-up saves. Making 1 regular save. So what's the damage on this?
Hold on, what was rending? Maybe 4.
It's also a crit. He also is rending, so that that ended up being 2 crits and a regular hit. So it's going to be
4/3.
So I did block this one.
Okay.
So it's going to be 8 damage onto him. I do have, because he charged, I do have a 5-up feel no pain, so here's 6 of the 8 so far. Ignoring 2 of them. Ignoring 3 of them. So I will take, what is that, 3 damage. 8. I ignored 3 out of the 8, right? 1 second. Yeah, I take 5 out of those 8 damage that were put into him. So he's not dead, but he is hurt. He did get a stim as one of his things, so he will be at 3 wounds remaining. I'm going to activate my gunner over here, and he's going to fire his fusel into... Actually, I'm going to fire it into his stalker over there. Because my line of sight is going through the Kroot hound over here, I'm actually -1 die that I'm shooting into him. Because if your line takes it through enemy or friendly operatives that aren't in base contact with you, then you reduce the number of shots by 1 that are going into him. So I'd rather shoot into the stalker though. So I'm going to put those into him. I'm going to have 5 shots here then with my Navis Las Volley. These are going to be hitting on 4s, and they're relentless, so I'll reroll everything. Alrighty, so that's going to be a crit and a hit so far, and rerolling. Getting another crit and another hit. There's no AP on this, so he's just going to have his 3 dice looking for 5-ups. No, not getting anything. So that will be, what is that? 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's going to be 14 damage into him. Then he is out of action. My opponent activated his cut skin over there, who picked up the bounty token that was dropped over there with my melta guy. All right, so my cat unit is going to move up over to here with this activation and go into conceal. So now my opponent's heavy gunner is going to activate, firing into my axe jack here. So he's going to have 5 attacks, hitting on 5s because of it being Overwatch. Nice. So just two crits, and it's rending, so it's going to be 3 crits over there. What's the damage on a crit there? 4.
It's going to be 4.
So there's nothing I can do. Oh no, I've got feel no pains. I've got feel no pains. I do get cover, so I will take. No, I'm going to roll because I want to see if I can get crits here.
Okay.
Don't get any of them. I get 1 save, but not enough to cancel anything. So that is going to be 12 damage over here. So let's see if his feel no pains can hold up. I need 5 pluses. No, he did. My next action is going to activate my Geist Skull, who is going to boost over to there. So his boost action is basically a free move action, but it allows him to move in a straight line, unlimited distance. So he's just going to go right there. Now my opponent's long sight is going to fire into my Sergeant at Arms over here. So he's going to have 4 shots here hitting on 4s. Yes. So it's going to be a crit and a regular hit. So the crit's going to do 3 mortal wounds to him. Yep. And then I have 3 4-up saves. Making 2 of them. It doesn't matter which one I do. I'm just going to cancel out one of the 3 because it's 3 damage with a crit. So I will take 6 damage. So he's still alive but hurt. My Void Jammer is going to activate, and he is going to do Geist Skull Detonator. So essentially, he will blow up his Geist Skull here, who will hit everyone within circle, which is all 3 of these guys, because even going around, you go around the corner here, he's within circle out the hatch over there. So it's going to hit his long sight, his heavy gunner, and his cut skin. So we're going to go down from the top here to the long sight. So it's going to be 4 shots hitting on 3s. It's got Detonate, which blows up into all of them there, and EMP and Silent. So he's got EMP, which is essentially it has lethal X, where X is their unmodified save characteristic. So his long shot is going to have a 4-up. Oh no, he has a 5-up save. Yep. So these are going to be lethal 5+. Oof. So that's going to be 2 crits and a hit. And you have 3. So. Yes, I think you should be able to get cover over there with him.
And no AP?
No AP.
Okay.
So 5-ups.
That's it.
Oh, making 3. So he will be able to cancel out the crit and one of the regular ones. So he will still take 2 damage, which is not bad. Then we will go into the heavy gunner over there. That is going to be a crit and a regular.
Take the cover.
No cover for him.
Oh, no
yeah,
cover.
because yes, he's within.
Across.
Right. Oh, actually, the other guy I don't think had cover either.
He wouldn't?
No, because it's you're within white of him. So that means that you don't get light cover within white. Because the operative is in white. Because that's what we measured for that. So just roll one more. Just roll one more, and we'll see. No. So you had 2 regular ones. So you'll take the crit. So you'll just take another 3 damage.
Okay.
Or another. I'm sorry. No, another 2 damage. Another 2 damage.
I'm down to 4. All right. So
4.
I'm 50%. All right.
Here we go. And then we've got into this guy. So it's a crit and a regular. And no you have 5 up, no cover.
Okay. Fine.
making one, which will block the crit. So you'll just take the 2 damage from that. And then into his cut skin over there. That is going to be another crit and a regular. Saves a 5+.
No cover.
No cover at all. So he makes 1 regular, so he will take 3 damage. All right, so that is going to be the end of turning point number 2 here. We will now roll off to see who will have initiative on turning point number 3. Opponent rolled a 6. I rolled a 2, so it will be to the Kroot here on turning point number 3. All right, so into the strategy step, we both gain CP. Neither of us is going to spend anything on tactical ploys or on strategic ploys, and none of us have anything to reveal. So that is going to be it for that. We will come back to you with the firefights. My opponent's going to activate his Hound, who is going to activate and charge into my Gunner, and he is going to also then go into the fight with him. So we will...
All
right, so my Gunner is going to have gun butt attacks here. So he's going to have 3 gun butt attacks. Looking for 4s to hit. And you have, what, 4 attacks? Looking for 3s?
Yep.
All right, so let me clear out my guys here for a second. Excellent. Here we go. All right, we'll come back to you. My opponent's going to spend a CP to reroll. All right, so he's going to get 4 hits there. All right, so I my opponent parried my first strike with his. Then I struck with my second hit, and then my opponent struck with his 3 ones there, doing 9 damage to me and incapacitating me. All right, so now I'm going to activate my Hatch Cutter, who is going to charge into both his Gunner and into his Cut Skin. I am going to attack into him with my Chain Fist, so I'm going to have 4 attacks hitting on 4s. My opponent has his Cut Skin. He has a special rule called, what is it? Vicious Dueler, where essentially every dice that I have that doesn't hit, he does a mortal wound to me, which is pretty good. And then he is going to have 4 attacks hitting on 3s. Lethal and balanced. All right, so I got a crit and a regular. I'm now going to spend a CP to reroll one of those. In fact, I'm going to spend 2 CP to reroll both of these. Did not make a difference, so I will take 2 mortal wounds, but then I will just strike with this first one here and kill him.
I'm going to reroll this die.
No, don't do it. I'm going to strike and kill you with the first one.
No, it's balanced.
My opponent's going to activate his long sight. He's going to put him into conceal and do his first AP will be on long sight, which will basically give his weapon the silent special rule, and I think
lethal 5.
And lethal 5+. So now he is going to shoot into me over here. So he's going to have what is it? 4 shots hitting on 3s. All right, so it's going to be 2 crits and a regular hit. I've got 3 5-up saves. I need. No, don't make any of them. My guy, my sergeant in arms that he was shooting at over here is dead. My Armsman's going to activate now. He's going to move up into the hatch there, and then he's going to fire into his Hound here in close range. So that's going to be 4 shots hitting on 3s. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 hits. No AP on this at all, so you could just have your 3. What is it on the Hound? Is 5-up saves? Yep. Yes, so 3 5-up saves. Not making any of them. That is going to be 12 damage, so he is dead. Now my opponent's going to activate his Heavy Gunner, who's just going to fight into me over there. So he's going to have 3 attacks hitting on 3s, is it?
I am hurt. So
oh, yeah, hitting on 4s because he's wounded. I'm going to have 4 attacks hitting on 4s as well.
No.
So I got 1 hit over there. My opponent got nothing. Nope. So I am just going to strike with this, doing 5 damage, which actually incapacitates him. All right, my opponent doesn't have anyone in range or line of sight for Overwatch here, so what's going to happen is I'm going to activate my cat unit and my dude bro over here. They're both going to move over to this place over here. Then I'm going to activate him, move him up there, and flip that switch. So that's going to be it for the 3rd turning point here. We will now roll off to see who will have initiative going into the 4th turning point. I rolled a 4, my opponent rolled a 1, so we'll come back to you with the movement phase for the breachers here, or we'll just come back to you with the turning point number 4. All right, so we during the strategy step, we both gained a CP, didn't spend anything else, and nothing was revealed. So now I'm going to activate my Hatch Cutter, who's going to charge into his long sight over here and attack. So I've got 4 dice here, hitting on 4s. I think my opponent has, what is it, 3 dice with a long shot attacking? 3 dice looking for 3s. Oh, buddy. All right, so I got 2 crits. I'm going to spend a CP to reroll one of these into that. So I got 2 crits and a regular hit. My opponent got 3 regular hits, so we'll come back to you with that. All right, so I will strike here. My opponent will strike there, and I will strike there. So I will kill him. I'll be down to 3 wounds. And that is the last operative off the table there, and that's where the end of the game is. So the Breachers were able to fend off the Kroot as they tried to assail this this Hulk here and held him off for now. I'm sure there will be other kill teams that will be sent in from their ships to try to take more out as they continue to gather deep in here. So, yeah, this is a ton of fun. The 2 kill teams are really flavorful. There's a lot to do there. My guys, I got a couple awesome combos that happened that worked out really well in my favor, especially the one that was over here where I just activated the 2 guys, cut the hole in the wall, and just ran through with the grenade launcher guy, the grenadier. Man, that was fun. But yeah, awesome terrain, awesome new rules. So this is going to be Into the Dark, which is, I think, if you're watching this when I release it, I think it's already on pre-order, and you can, and it will be coming out, I think, the next Saturday after this release. So you can go to your store and pick it up there. So it should go out. It should already be on pre-order, and then you can pick it up this weekend. So thank you, GW, for sending this to me ahead of time so we could show you guys all the cool, fun stuff. The terrain is also super fun. Neil was kind enough to paint it up for me as I ferociously painted up the 2 kill teams to get them going there. So I was happy. I think the models are fun. They look super rad, super flavorful rules, super cinematic, and it's yeah, a really good time. So I hope you guys have all enjoyed this. I certainly have. I have been Phil, the Glacial Geek, as always. My opponent's been Neil, and until next time, stay safe and have fun.